So, hey, how's it going? I'm Remy, founder of Mike's Arthur Gym, and today I'm with Ty Arnett. Ty used to be the founder of Affiliate Solutions, so you're very well known in the CrossFit affiliate community, right? So it was called,
Notorious, I think is the word.
yeah, and it was called Affiliate Solution. And a week ago, we spoke over the phone, and you just rebranded. And could you please, introduce yourself and also why, and explain why you rebranded, why you changed the name of your company?
Absolutely, yeah. So, guys, welcome. Thank you very much for giving me your time. My name's Ty Arnett. I'm the owner of now Vive Group, our new rebranded company. So, I started out in the fitness industry 16 years ago. I dropped out of school to work full time as a martial arts instructor. As soon as I was old enough to legally own a business, I opened my own martial arts schools. I had ups and downs and failures, and dusted myself off, and eventually owned 6 martial arts schools around Australia and New Zealand. But I was in my 20s and I burnt out and I made bad decisions with my own personal, how I treated, life and business. So I ran away to the army. I literally sold all of my businesses and ran away to the army in the same day. In the army, I found the beautiful thing that is CrossFit. I hated it because it humbled me and it kicked my ass, and eventually flew from Australia to the US to do my level 1. And fell in love with it. So I taught CrossFit in the army, came back, opened a gym, ended up opening or buying into other gyms. At the height, I had 6. 6 is my lucky number. CrossFit boxes around Australia and New Zealand, and I realized that some people were struggling. We were doing quite well, so I started helping out people, and the help eventually became professional, which meant I had to have a business, and so I turned it into the affiliate solution. Which we started 6.5 years ago now.
Awesome. So hold on, before you explain why you rebranded, I see that we have a bunch of people here joining the live. Could you please let us know if, yes, you see us, you hear us, let us know. We had some trouble with Zoom. Please drop a comment and let us know if we are live, you can hear us okay and see us okay. So why did you change from affiliate to Vive now?
Yeah, so what was Affiliate Solution and what kind of made sense as a business name 6.5 years ago just didn't really make sense anymore. In the last 6.5 years, I've personally and my team with me have traveled to 58 countries, worked with 1,700 boxers. We've learned a lot and we've seen a lot. And my job originally was to take my lessons that I learned at my gyms and to teach them to people, whereas that's just not what we do anymore. Now, my team's job is to travel the world, find the best gyms, work out why they're the best, and then pass. It's kind of like Christopher Columbus bringing back paper and tea. That's our job today. And so that very much our mission changed a lot, but also just who we were and who we were focusing on. I was so in the CrossFit world that it was all about CrossFit, and still probably 80% of our clients are CrossFit, but we also realized that we're getting a lot of martial arts schools and yoga studios and PT and strength and conditioning gyms. And so the word affiliate was kind of holding us back. And also just from branding points of view, man, affiliate solution, they're both 2 big words. They're very hard to brand. They're very hard to balance. So the way I explain it is the brand affiliate solution just felt like an old t-shirt. You love it. You've had it forever, but it doesn't really fit anymore. And also, Affiliate Solution was all about me. Now we've got 19 staff in 9 countries. We're a group. I'm an equal part of the team, and everybody else contributes as much. So that's why we decided to change to Vive Group. But essentially, we're the same people with the same mission, just a different name and some cooler branding.
Would you consider yourself as being the Tim Ferriss for gym owners? With the 4 work week?
I would love that title. It's a lot better than I used to be called the what's that angry chef that yells at people? Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But look, man, my I guess in the same sense as Tim Ferriss, but to a much smaller degree, my focus is lifestyle. That's what I care about. That's all I'm focused on. I will help you have better systems.
Life in Latin, right?
Exactly. Yes. So vive in Latin means to live. And that's the other reason that we changed is because, you know, Affiliate Solution was all about the numbers, was all about growth, was all about, you know, very, not vanity metrics, but, you know, things to do with the business more than anything. Now our job is all about, and not in a bullshit kind of, you know, everybody wants to talk about freedom. We really are focused on, we build the business from day one to grow and to be profitable and to be a good business, but mostly to deliver the business owners with freedom, and it works. You know,
Sorry, I got you. In order to have a successful business, you need three things: income, impact, and lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you don't have the lifestyle, you're working 16 hours a week, a day, yeah. 16 hours a day. Sure, you might have impact, you might have the income, but you're not spending your time with your family, you're not having any hobbies, you're not enjoying life. It's not a business, it's a hustle.
Exactly. And if that's what if that's what you want, if you know, if you're not going to have the lifestyle, just go get a job. Just go be a coach somewhere. You know, there's plenty of boxers, not the majority for sure, but there's plenty of boxers that are paying 80,000, 100,000 a year to their top level coaches. You still have the income, you still have the impact. And to be honest, you'll have a better lifestyle than most box owners do. But if you do things right, the lifestyle that you can have, you know, where we're at today, we've got a lot of our boxers now running their boxes remotely, like literally from the other side of the world. You know, and this isn't one or two, this is a significant number. Or we've got box owners that decide to go on a 6-month, you know, traveling around the world with their family. You know, or we've just got people who get to pick up their kids from school every day. You know, whatever your version of lifestyle is, that's what we're seeing. It's no longer the freaks. It's no longer the unicorns in the industry. We've proven that anyone can do it. So why not?
So do you believe that the 4-hour work week, like, you know, Tim Ferriss' book, is possible for team owners with the right system, the right team?
I think it's a great title. I think it's a fantastic title. And by the way, that book changed my life, genuinely. I've read that book, I think it's 6 times I've read that book. And I'm a big fan. A lot of it isn't kind of applicable practically today. I love that book. It changed my life. What we've got it down to now with boxers, and the most successful model that we've actually been working on now is an 8-hour back of house week, right? So if you've got to teach classes, that's fine, right? But we've got, and this is all back of house. So the point we kind of want to get at is, if you're doing everything from an admin point of view, we can get it done in 8 hours a week. So it's broken down into 2-hour blocks, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And what we focus on is good work, is real, you know, if you don't need the internet, turn it off. If you don't need your phone, turn it off. You know, don't go to a cafe where it's loud and noisy. Lock yourself in a quiet room, put your head down and go hard for 2 hours. But the point of kind of that is, every single one of those things in that 8-hour week can be done by someone else. And not only can it be done by someone else, you know, whether it's coaching, whether it's admin, whether it's marketing or member acquisition, or, you know, whatever it is, it can be done by someone else, and they can do it better than you. This is a fallacy that people keep falling into, is that if you want something done well, do it yourself. No, if you want something done well, create good systems and hire fucking animals to do it for you. Surround yourself with savages.
Yeah. And so you're speaking about 8 hours a week. Can you be, I don't know, in Cancun, you know, working from Cancun from, you know, your laptop, or do you have to be at the gym?
No. So the 8 hours a week is total back of house. So non-coaching activities. You don't have to do those. And the boxers who are successfully living these remote lifestyles. So I'll give you a real world example. So we've got one box owner who owns 2 very successful boxes, 2 of the most successful boxes in England. They're both in London, beautiful gyms. They now live, him and his family, his wife and his young child, now live in Denver, Colorado, because they love hiking. They love the outdoors, right? So he works over there. His wife will touch base with the staff during the week. But it's just usually a morning call like this, just to a
Zoom call, right? Video call like this.
Yeah, more than anything, just to support. There's not a lot of actual work. And for him, you know, he's jumping in every couple of weeks just as a leader with the team. And then I think they go back to London like twice a year. And that's mostly to see family.
Yeah.
And we're seeing this again and again and
maybe,
again. Like
maybe have dinner with the team, right? With the coaches.
exactly.
Team
Yeah.
building. Yeah. Awesome.
But the big thing is out of that 8 hours a week, they're not doing any of that 8 hours. You know, all of their team. So you know, it's the captain of the ship. You know, they're steering the ship. You know, they're making sure the direction and the culture is on point. But they have general managers, they have head coaches. They have this is the thing people are missing. Step one is to become a leader, obviously, right? But step two is to create a leadership team, right? To not just be the only head honcho in your gym. You've got to empower people underneath you. You know, you've got to understand roles, like understanding that the head coach role isn't about who is the best coach or who is the strongest or who has the most certificates, but it's about who can manage and lead coaches, which quite often it'll be a new coach. It'll be a junior coach, but they'll have management experience or leadership experience. And so this is where a lot of people fall down. This is the biggest missing piece right now in the CrossFit or the small gym community, is that leadership element, because without that, you will have no freedom. The best you can hope for is conditional freedom, which is you might get to go on a trip, you might get to sit on a beach and sip Mai Tais, but you know that this thing can ring anytime because you don't have people that are empowered to handle stuff. So if something goes wrong, it's on you.
Yeah, and it might just be for a week or two, and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's not really that things are running themselves. It's just that if things stop running for a week or two, you don't notice it so much. You know, go away for 6 months. Go away for 6 months and come back to a gym that's better than it was when you left it. Now you have freedom. Now you actually have real freedom. And again, if that's not your goal, fine. But maybe maybe you don't want to leave the gym. Maybe you love the gym, but you want to have the freedom that if your kids get sick, you can take a month off to look after them. You know, if you have a friend that's in need, that needs help, then you can just leave work today and go and help them. You know, I had a friend who was in a bit of strife in Cambodia, and I was able to that night. He called me in the morning, and that night I was on a plane over to Cambodia and spent a month over there trying to help him out. And that, you know, I've bought cars and houses and traveled the world, and that stuff's cool. But that point there, being able to say yes to a friend in need, that was my most proud moment as a business.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so I imagine that it's actually a lot of work to set up those systems and the team. Sure, you're gonna help with your systems, right? But I would imagine that it's a lot of work, maybe for a few months, or maybe for 6 months, or maybe for a year. But then it's freedom forever, right?
Yeah, for sure. And the crazy thing is everyone wants to come to us and ask for the magic secret. You know, everyone wants to come to our seminar and they're waiting for that.
Yesterday,
that one.
on your group, you were asking for the magic system. Is there
exactly.
a magic? Is there a magic?
Absolutely not. The magic secret is discipline and consistency. When I'm at a seminar and I say do this, no one goes, wow, that's amazing. Everyone goes, yeah, we tried that once and it worked, but we didn't keep doing it. Or, oh yeah. What often happens, even with my crazy ideas, usually our craziest systems, our most creative systems, most people have thought of that at some point, but it was option C on a list of, you know, solutions to a problem. And a lot of people would rather make no decision than make the wrong decision. And so they just walked away from that. You know, I could do this. I just won't do anything. If I do nothing, then, you know, I'm in a known state. And so our big thing is, look, you know how to teach a good class. So write the systems and make sure it happens every day. You know how to sign somebody up. Look, here's how much consistency matters. What is the most successful burger chain in the world? It's not the best burgers in the world. It's the shittiest burgers in the world. McDonald's, right? People would rather a consistently shit product than an occasionally great product, right? Now, we don't want to be consistently shit. We want to be consistently great, but just understand that the determining factor in that is the consistency, not the quality, right? So look, even with a sign-up process, if your sign-up process is, you know, the 5th best it could be, cool. Obviously try and make it better, but for today, systematize it. At least make it consistent, right? And same with the intro, and same with the on-ramp, and same with how you handle absent members and all of your other retention strategies. Like, this is the thing that's matter. You know, like I said, my job is to travel the world and to find the best boxes and to work out what they're doing, right? It's a hard job, but someone's got to do it. But what I see again and again is, very rarely do I see a box that makes me go, wow, look at what they're doing. This is insane. What I see is boxes that are just doing the basics really, really, really well, or just really consistently. Like, a lot of boxes, I'll go in and I'll disagree with a lot of what they do. You know, not that it's wrong, but it's definitely not the best version of what it could be. Mm-hmm. But they do it consistently every single day. And not just the owner when the owner's feeling good and has had enough coffee, right? But even the most junior member of staff, the new person who's just joined, that one coach whose mind is distracted elsewhere because he's going through a divorce, they're all still doing the same thing because they have systems, not because they're good people or because they have a good memory, but because they have systems.
And because also it's documented, right? If, let's say, well, you forget how to freeze an account. Well, you have the system. You go to the document on how to freeze an account. Okay, it's documented. And even if you just hired a new general manager, even if you didn't have the time to train that general manager, well, it's already written, right? They just have to follow the process.
Yeah. You know, in the past, I've given systems to my mum when I was very lucky that I was introduced to systems from an early age in business. And, you know, when I was young and running martial arts schools and I couldn't afford a general manager, if I needed help, I'd flick systems to my mum. I'd flick systems to my best buddies. Like, I'd get people to help when they could. I was very lucky to have that support network. But everyone did the right job. Now, they maybe didn't do it as fast as I could, or, you know, as efficiently as I could, but it got done. What needed to get done, got all the boxes that needed to be ticked were ticked. And so, yeah, there is no, and by the way, systems are a funny thing. For me, they're the litmus test of a box's success or potential success, right? Because they're not easy, but they are simple, right? They're hard work, but most importantly, they're very ungratifying. You can sit there and write systems for a whole afternoon, right? Which you shouldn't actually do. But let's say you spend 4 hours on systems. At the end of it, you have systems and that's all. You don't get a pat on the back. You don't look at a freshly painted gym. You don't have new bits of equipment. You don't, like, it all happens underground, right? It's thankless work. And for that reason, most box owners won't do them. They just won't. You know, that they'll come to my seminars. I will hand them the roadmap and teach them how to do systems. And they still won't do it because, for the same reason that most of your athletes don't go home and do mobility. You know, you can't put mobility on Instagram. It's not sexy, right? They don't see the immediate results. They're not going to PR.
Yeah, it's not very sexy, but I do not invite gym owners that don't have systems and a team in place before, you know, I invite them into my client acquisition program. It is mandatory. It's not easy. Oh, sure, a client acquisition system to grow your gym, it is sexy, but you need the systems. If you don't have it, it's not going to work. You won't have the time to work on that client acquisition system.
You know, and this is why we're talking, by the way. But you allowing somebody into your system, into your program, who doesn't have systems in place, that's the same as me as a coach allowing somebody to come in and do a high level, you know, Smolov squat program who doesn't know how to air squat, right? I'm going to add load onto a structure that's not ready for it. And that would be, there's no way around it. That would be negligent of me, right? And this is why we're talking. This is, I'm sure a lot of the people watching don't have no idea who I am. So for those who don't know me, I hate marketing gurus, right? This is the first time I've ever done one of these things with a marketing guru, and apologies for calling you a guru, but, and the reason I don't like them is because they're all full of shit, right? They all want to sell you the pipe dream. They all want to focus on the wrong metric. They all want to give you leads, low quality leads, but lots of leads. And that is so pointless and it's unethical, right? And so that's, for those who don't know me, that's why I'm talking to Remy here, is because, you know, I don't even want to talk to most of these other marketing idiots for more than 5 minutes, because the second I smell, when they a little bit of unethicalness, right? Their ability to just give you bullshit numbers. And by the way, this doesn't just not get you results, it can destroy your business. And I've seen it again and again and again and again. So for those who don't know Remy as well, that's why I'm talking to him. And I have no reason to say this other than I believe it. Remy and I have no financial relationship. I don't get any money for saying he's a good dude. We're not old mates from high school or anything like that. The fact that he requires you to have some sort of structure, the fact that he requires you to be ready for his program, which seems obvious, but most marketing experts will not, is very impressive. So yeah, in general, guys, whether you're going to Remy or whether you're doing it yourself or whatever, if you should not be thinking about marketing until you've got your house in order, until you've got your culture, your team, your systems, and yourself, your brain, your mentality in order. Do not even think about adding a single more member.
Yeah, and we were speaking about this yesterday, right? On your group. We did a live on your group. We were speaking about loving. We were speaking about caring. A lot of gym owners actually do care. They want to change bodies. They want to change lives. They want to have an impact. But they actually don't even have the time to care, because they don't have the systems and they don't have the team. And so I ask my clients to show that they care. That's how you attract people. That's how you enroll them, and that's how you keep them. If you don't have the time to do it, work on your system first. Work with style first.
100%. You've got to, we have a saying, wear your care, right? The fact that you want to help people, the fact that you love your members, the fact that you're passionate about what you do, it doesn't mean anything if I can't see it. You know what I mean? It's what's funny is in my day-to-day, going on, I'm kind of an introvert. I'm a quiet guy. I don't like crowds. I don't like people. I'm not talking to strangers at the airport. I'm a very reserved guy. But when we start talking about business, I have to become big and loud and over the top, because it's not enough that I'm passionate about what I do. You have to know that I'm passionate about what I do, right? And it's the same thing with the gym owners, right? When that phone rings, that is someone on the other end who wants to change their life, but they have no idea how much they're going to change their life. They're in for an awesome surprise, and they want to trust you with that responsibility. And it's a big responsibility, and they want to pay you for the pleasure, right? So when I call gym owners, and I do a lot, and they, hello, CrossFit ABC, Ty speaking. I think how uninspiring, right? If I'm a nervous 30-something-year-old mom and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give this CrossFit thing again, you've just lost me. We haven't even started the conversation. So when you see that phone ring, take a second, look at it, remind yourself how lucky you are to be giving this privilege. It is not an interruption to your day. It is an absolute privilege. And then answer it like you give a shit, right? And it's the same thing when they first walk in. Talk to them, see them. Don't just talk at them. Treat them like you give a shit. And what I love is with your marketing strategy, market like you give a shit. Show people that you care. Show yourself. Show your passion. You know what I mean? And if you say, oh, it's not really who I am. I'm introverted. I'm not outwardly. Cool. Me too. But you're a business owner. It's your responsibility. It is a skill. Wearing your care on your sleeve, that is a skill, and it's your responsibility to get good at it. And so, yeah, man, I love that approach. That's what, when we first spoke, that's what caught me to you. What made me go, you know what, I want to know this guy a little bit more, is the whole idea of show love, man. Before we start talking about pixels and custom audiences and remarketing and all this kind of bullshit, show you give a shit.
Yeah, because loving, caring is always going to win, and it is freaking sustainable. When you use a bait and switch offer, or when you use a $21 challenge for 21 days, it might work at the beginning. Let's speak about it in 3 months or 6 months. Let's see.
Yep. That's the other problem. And it's a marketing problem, but it's also just a mentality problem with gym owners, with small business owners in general, I guess. But, this idea of what's the goal, right? And so many people, their result that they're looking for, they're so short-sighted, right? We want to sign up more members. Okay, cool. Well, here's 100 members, but they're going to quit in a month. Is that what you wanted? Right? How about we shift it and go, you know what? And when we talk to people about marketing, you never just want more members. That's too broad, right? You want more people in your 9 a.m. class, or you want more people in your 4:30 or your 1 p.m. or whatever it is, right? But let's just shift it and say, I want more 5-year members. I want more 10-year members. Because again, when we talk about it, we talk about CrossFit as a lifestyle. So let's treat it as a lifestyle. Let's have the business goals the same way. So as soon as you start saying, I want more 5 and 10-year members, all of a sudden things like Groupon and things like, you know, a boot camp for $6 and half a cigarette doesn't sound like such a great idea, right? It sounds like the scam that it is. Yeah. And the same thing if we step back from marketing and just look at the business. So many box owners are looking at their feet, right? They're trying to think, how am I going to pay wages this week? How am I going to pay rent this month? Can I afford affiliation this year? Instead of taking a step back, lifting their head up, looking at the sky and going, oh, you know, what are we in 5 years? Who am I going to hand this business over to when I'm 70? Right? When I'm too old to run it, how do I make this a legacy product where I give this business to my kid? Or how do I sell this business for $1 million in 5 years? Right? There's none of this long-term view. And if you try and hike through the bush, which is what we're doing, right? This is a metaphorical hike through the bush of business. Looking at your feet, you're going to go around and around in circles and eventually get eaten by a tiger, right? You've got to look up. You've got to have a bigger view. You've got to understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. You know, you can't be playing the short game and expect to be here in 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I agree. What would be the minimum setup in terms of your team, right? Yeah. If you want to become free, you want to have that 8 hour a week where you could work online, right? From another country if you want. I assume you would need at least a general manager, some coaches. What else? Would you need a front desk manager? What is the minimum required in terms of team?
Yeah, so I kind of have this this dichotomy when it comes to staffing concepts. I want the leanest staff possible, right? But at the same time, I actually want an overflow of other staff. So I'll explain. So when it comes to back of house, what I'm looking for, we used to have general managers, but then what we realized was a lot of what the general manager was doing was handling unnecessary work, right? So the general manager was dealing with all of the dot the I's, cross the T's that didn't need to be done, right? Who's entered for the competition this weekend and what's going on here? Like the general manager was handling what we call crazy work instead of handling calm work. So instead of passing that job off to the general manager, let's eliminate that. I'm so big on having calm business, on having a business that is not out of control, right? Nothing in our business can't wait 6 days, right? And that's why we have a 1 week rotating task cycle. So what we did was we about 4 years ago, we replaced the idea of a general manager and split it into two. One half is a virtual assistant. And look, it's 2019. Virtual assistants are not a new thing. I honestly think if you don't have a virtual assistant in your business, you're out of your mind. You've got a lot of work to do to start with.
Yeah, can I just say something about this? So please. I have a personal assistant. Mm-hmm. She is in the Philippines.
Yeah, same.
I pay her $3.5 an hour.
Yep.
So some people are gonna be like, "Oh wow, you're like."
That's a lot of money in the Philippines, bro. No.
The salary there, the minimal wage is $1. Yeah. I have 3.5 times the minimum salary there. I'm actually helping a family.
Yeah.
I'm not using any. I'm actually really helping her by paying her 3.5 times what she would get in the Philippines.
Absolutely. So my background on this is quite unique, actually. So I've been using VAs for nearly 10 years. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I actually decided to go to the Philippines. I've been quite a few times, and we set up an office. We hired a manager. We hired a large team of VAs. We trained them on what we do. We went deep, so when it comes to VAs, we've used a lot of them. And it's why I'm more than ever, it's almost to the point where if I'm working as a business, if I'm working with another business, not a CrossFit gym, but, say I hire a marketing firm or I hire an electrician or anyone, if they don't have a virtual assistant in 2019, it's a little bit unprofessional. It's almost like them saying, oh, we don't have a website. You're like, what? Are you real business or not? That's how valuable they are. And like you said, right, here's the thing. I overpay everybody. That's my concept, right? It is so much easier for me to just make more money, overpay people, and get a guaranteed a better result, right? So my current VA, we've had the team over there, but now my personal VA, she's on $6 an hour. But you can imagine, right now, $3.50 for you is absolutely a good wage, right? I wanted someone that I'm impatient. I want someone who will just, at the drop of the hat, if I need something at two in the morning, it'll get done, and that's what we have. Now, again, what's an extra $1 an hour to us? What do we care? It's fine. It's nothing. So we kind of got off track here a little bit, but to anyone listening, if you don't have a virtual assistant, go to Upwork. I actually have a great guide that I put out. It's I think it's a 40-minute video or something like that. It's on my Facebook page on exactly how to hire a VA through Upwork.com. Like I said, you're behind. It's not a new crazy thing that people are doing. You're behind the curve right now if you're not using a VA.
I teach that also within my program on how to hire a designer on Upwork.com so that they can work on their, let's say, Facebook cover profile for their Facebook page, let's say. Well,
and that's what I love about.
You shouldn't do that, right? You don't know Photoshop. You're not an artist. You are a CrossFit gym owner.
100%.
You're gonna pay someone $30. It's gonna be a beautiful Facebook cover for your Facebook page.
Why not?
$30 there is a lot of money, and for you it's nothing. And at least you didn't waste your time.
Absolutely.
Or a Facebook cover that wouldn't have been as good as the one that you would get from that designer.
Exactly. And that's what I love about virtual assistants is they're kind of like the entry-level drug into outsourcing. So you start with a virtual assistant and they're quite easy. If you get a good one, they're quite easy to get the hang of. And, you've got to get used to it's a different type of communication. It's a different type of task management. But once you get the hang of that, Upwork is huge. It's so much bigger than that. So all of a sudden, you've got a graphic designer, and then you've got a website designer, and then you've got a video editor, and then you've got a data analysis person because you're trying to work out injuries and programming and look at large sets of data. And then you want demographic studies, so you find someone who can do that. Then you need a contract written up, so you find a lawyer. Then you need an accountant. It's the outsourcing allows small businesses like ours to act like big businesses at scale and at a way cheaper price. So anyway.
For people watching the live right now, ask us questions. Tell us if it's a concept that is new for you, hiring virtual assistants in the Philippines or wherever. And also, who else wants to work 8 hours a week online, right? Yeah. I'm sure that it's a concept that is not very familiar. I'm sure that gym owners are not very familiar with this concept. Drop a comment. Let us know if you want Ty to let us know about all these, ways on how to. I'm sure we are not gonna have the time to explain everything, but at least the main strategies on how to get the 8 hours a week online or from home, right?
100%. It's honestly, it's simple, not easy, but simple. So back to staffing. So we have a virtual assistant. And they deal with any administrative tasks that don't need to be done in the gym. So all of our membership processing, all of our email replies, we systematize the hell out of those because most of your communication, your written communication is the same 3 or 4 questions again and again and again, whether it's from new people or old people. So our VAs handle all of that. And then instead of a general manager in the gym, we have a member services manager, right? And so this person is purely just about retention, about relationships. This person will also be our receptionist. And this person will be kind of the face of the non-coaching element of the business, right? So everything from low-level stuff, receptionist stuff like answering the phone and doing sales, right up to high-level stuff like planning out retention strategies and executing on those strategies, right? Now, what people don't understand is there are no full-time positions in your gym. There's no need for a full-time position in your gym. If you're just a normal, let's call it a 300, 400 member gym, there's no need for a full-time position, right? Now, full-time, I mean 40-hour a week, because there's just not that much work to do. You as an owner should be focusing on, number one, culture and leadership, driving the ship, all right?
On the business and not in.
Exactly, right? And lifestyle, and hanging out with family, or developing new businesses, or traveling the world, or whatever it is you want to do, right?
You are the business owner. You are the one that invested a lot of money. You are the one that built the team. You are the one that built the system. So sure, first year, first 2 years, first 3 years, you hustled.
Yeah.
But now that you build that team, you build those systems, well, it's time to get rewarded for all of your hustle.
Yeah. And by the way, on that, I'm very big on, travel the world, hang out with families, like live the best lifestyle, live a millionaire's lifestyle without the $1 million, right? But on the other side of things, I'm very much with you. You don't dare watch Netflix in the first 6 months of owning a gym. You don't hang out with friends. You don't get to have a beer. You work your face off, right? Like I'm a taskmaster when it comes to the first 6 months. But if you can do that, right, we've had plenty of boxes where we've set them up, and 6 months in, they've got 300 members and they're taking time off. One of our team members, Clark Hibbs from CrossFit Yellow Rose in Houston, Texas, he's on our team now. We brought him onto our team 6 months after he opened his gym, because within the first 6 months, they'd already grown to their capacity. They'd already hired their team. They'd already systematized. They were one of the most successful gyms in Texas. And then within their year, him and his wife took 3 international holidays. And then every year since then, they've taken multiple, we bring Clark all over the world with us. He's been to Mexico. He's been to Iceland. He's been to Amsterdam with me. And then with his family, he's been to Belgium and all over the US, right? And by the way, this dude is, I think he's like 26, right? He's not some guy that comes into this with a massive background or an MBA or something like that, but he understands the value of discipline and consistency, right? He keeps it simple. So when people want to complain about, oh, you're bound to lose money for the first 3 years, that's just business. Fuck off. That is such an excuse. And Clark had no heads up. He started with 0 clients from day one. Whatever excuse people want to use and say, oh, but he probably, no. And we see this again and again with box owners that can simplify things. So stop making excuses. Get out of the business's way. Your business wants to be simple. It wants to be successful. You're in its way. You're slowing it down. Get the fuck out of its way.
One of my students on Tuesday on our last group coaching call, she told me, wow, Remy, you keep giving us like a bunch of new systems. Who have a hard time, like catching up on all those systems? I'm like, yeah, it's because I want you to be free. You have been a gym owner for 10 years. Now that you are my client since September, well, now we grew the gym. Now I want to help you to be free too, right? And so sure, it is a lot of work to put those systems in place, but then you're free forever.
Yeah. And we also have to be realistic about what we call work. We're not working in coal mines. We're not on the front line of battle fighting for our lives. We're not out in the cold and the rain trying to fix electricity wires. We have to be realistic about. We're very lucky with what we get to do. We get to live our passion. We get to coach people and change their lives. And then occasionally you've got to sit in an air-conditioned office like this and type away on a keyboard and do work. Like when people complain to me about stuff like that, writing systems, you're like, come on, this is pretty good. Go do a day's worth of hard labor. And then, yeah, exactly. It's fun, right? So anyway, back to team. We keep getting off track. So the administrative side is handled essentially by our virtual assistant and our member services manager, and they work hand in hand. They are very close. They will talk to each other almost every single day.
You said virtual assistant? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Sorry, our virtual assistant and our membership, our member services manager. So they work hand in hand every day. And between the two of them, that's all of our back end stuff done. As the owner, I'm just doing the high end stuff. I'm doing, even the staffing is mostly handled by other people. Then from the coaching side of things, we have essentially 3 layers to our coaching. Number one, is our head coach. And again, this is not the person with the most coaching experience. This is not the person with the most certificates or the biggest swinging dick. This is the person who can lead a team. And again, sometimes that is, here's the big shocker, box owners. You do not have to be the head coach. It's okay, right? Put your ego aside, right? Yeah. Let the person, look, I don't like managing people. It's a part of my job, but it's an essential part. I can't get rid of it. But I don't want to be doing fucking rosters. I don't want to be sitting down with people and dealing with, when they do things right or wrong. It's just not who I am. It's not my strength, right? Mm-hmm. So I should not be the head coach in a gym, right? So something like the, programming. The programming is the head coach's responsibility. Doesn't mean they have to do it. It means they're responsible for it getting done. So it's okay if they don't have the skill to program, right? That's fine. They just have to make sure that they find someone who does and that person does their job. Yeah. But the most important part is that you empower leaders within your community, and your head coach needs to be the biggest one. So just switch your brain a little bit, guys, when you think of head coach. It's not about, who's been coaching the longest or who has the biggest deadlift. And then we have our coaches, our permanent coaches. And then we have our assistant coaches, right? Our number 2 coaches. With the admin side of things, right? And obviously we've got clean.
Some full-time, yeah?
So I want to give people, here's the tricky thing. What our coaches want is not a full-time job. They want a full-time wage. Very different, right? They don't want to work 40 hours. They want the money they get for working 40 hours. Our problem is ours is not a normal job, right? You can't coach 40 classes a week and have any sort of quality in that 40th class, right? So we have to work it out a little bit. So we have to look at it and go, okay, what is the maximum number of client-facing hours that our coaches can do? For me, it's 15, because I want the 15th class to be as good as the first class. So 15 hours a week. Now, how much can I pay this person? Even if I'm paying them a premium for those, if I'm paying $50, $60 an hour, that's still not a professional wage. And I'm not looking for minimum wage here, by the way. We want to say that our job, strength and conditioning coach, is a profession. Well, let's pay people a professional wage. How do we get our coaches to 6 figures? That's a professional wage, right? So this is where it takes a lot of work. And this is the kind of stuff that you as an owner should be actually spending your time on is, okay, I can only give them 15 hours and I can only pay them so much per hour. So where else am I finding them income sources? And for most of our coaches, we can do that with private coaching, not personal training. It's a very different concept. It's not an ongoing program. It's short-term goal-based training. It's very high cost because I don't want my coaches doing low-cost personal training, because that means that now they have to do more client-facing hours to get the money that they need, which is going to burn them out for the actual classes that they're teaching for me. So our kind of overall kind of very quick 5-second version of private coaching is it's very expensive. It's finite. So it's either a 1, a 3, or a 5 class pack. And it's very expensive, right? I want these guys to only have to do 4 or 5 of these a week max. So then they're only doing maximum 20 client facing hours a week. And for that to make up their full wage.
So it means you said that it's $60 an hour for when they do group coaching. When they do PT,
as an example.
Yeah. So when they do, depends. Like 100 or even more, right?
Sorry, say again.
When they do PT, it's like $100 an hour.
Oh, at least. And this is the thing: is personal training again it's actually quite a low value service, right? Especially the way it's done generally, right? Whereas if I've got a coach and I say, hey, what you're doing is private coaching, right? So this person comes to you not because they want to get fit. That's what CrossFit's for, right? CrossFit is the fitness program. What they want is a specific outcome. So they want to prepare for an endurance race, or they want to get their muscle up dialed in, or it's an outcome based thing, right? We only sell it in packs. So 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, and that's it, right?
Yes, that's what I tell my clients too. Do not sell 2 or 4 hours of PT per month. Mm-hmm. Sell, you are going to be able to do a handstand push-up and a muscle up in 2 months. That's going to take you 12 PT sessions.
Exactly.
But
Because
I can assure you that in 2 months, you do the muscle up, you do the handstand push-up.
yes, because now people are paying. It's very hard for people to connect with like, oh, I'm going to pay $500 for 3 hours. Well, that's a lot of money. No, you're going to pay $500 for the ability to run your first ever marathon. Oh, okay, cool. Here's my money, right? So this is very high cost. And also, if I'm a coach and I know that my hour is being billed at $100, $150, $180 an hour, I'm not just going to turn up in a sweaty t-shirt after a workout and say, hey, let's do this. I'm going to be up the night before. I'm going to be writing lesson plans. I'm going to be downloading resources. I'm going to be, answering your emails. It's going to be a high quality, high price, high ticket item, right? That's what I want. And I want that in every part of my gym. So why wouldn't I expect that same quality in my private coaching? But the first step is to call it private coaching and not personal training. Because as soon as you call it personal training, you're in the same market as that 17-year-old who's just finished his qualification down the road charging $20 an hour. You've lost the game. It needs to have its own concept.
Just to recap, the coaches, they work 15 hours a week for group coaching, and then they can get a 6-figure income because they do PT where they get $100 or even $150 an hour for PT.
And here's the shocking part, and a lot of people aren't going to like this. Out whatever they build, they get 100% of whatever I can give them of that money, right? So I understand that the average for the industry is like a 40-60 split, and then there's the 5/9 rule, I think it's called, which is ridiculous. The 5/9 or whatever the fuck it's called, it's a clever mathematical formula that justifies ripping off our coaches, right? We have a saying: there is a lot of great places to find money. Your coach's pockets is not one of them, right? Consider the small amount that you make by taking a percentage from your coaches for PTs or PCs in our case, right? Cool. It's a little bit of money. It really doesn't contribute that much to the gym. Now consider the value of keeping a happy coach for life. How much is that worth to you, right? And that's why I want to overpay my team, because I can make more money. It's a lot easier for me to make more money and pay my team more, to pay them so much that it would be a bad idea for them to ever leave. It's a lot easier for me to do that than it is for me to go out and find and develop and maintain more coaches, right? Especially if you want freedom, by the way. If you want freedom, you can't have unhappy coaches. You can't have coaches that are conditional. Maybe they stay, maybe they don't. So
yeah, if you pay them $15 an hour and you're like in Cancun sipping on margaritas, I don't know how easy it's gonna be to manage them, right? Now, if you pay them well, it's gonna be much easier.
Absolutely, we have to look after our team first. Honestly, look after your team before you look after your clients. Because if you do your job well, it'll be your team that will have the client-facing hours. They're the ones who will actually affect your business. They're the ones who will affect your client's experience. So you've got to have a happy team, But anyway, so
I don't know, 15 hours group coaching and maybe 5 or 10 more hours of PT.
Yep.
Now, when you tell them during your Zoom call, you're in Cancun sipping on a margarita, when you tell them, hey guys, make sure that there is a high vibe at the gym, that we high five each other, and that we have a smile, and that we remember everybody's name. Well, when they feel like this, and when they work just 25 hours a week, they will do it. They will remember the names, and they will high five everybody.
Yeah.
They will have
You've also given them a job worth keeping as well, right? If the box down the road is shinier and bigger and wants coaches, they're not going. Well, why would I ever leave this? Why would I open my own gym unless it was really my entrepreneurship was my passion? But just as a normal coach, why would I open my own gym? I'm here, I'm happy, I'm on 6 figures, I'm working 30 hours a week, I'm trusted, I'm treated as a respected part of it. Why would I fuck with that? Why would I sleep with a member when I'm not meant to? Why would I not turn up for class when I'm not meant to? Why would I have an attitude in class? I don't want to fuck this job up. That's what people don't understand. There's a retention value in this stuff.
Why would I take a loan, a $50K loan to buy equipment, and then rent a facility for $5,000, $5,000 a month to, start my own thing, while I only work 25 hours a week and I get my six-figure income.
Absolutely. Yeah, invest in your people, guys. So my approach to my coaching team is a little bit different. Obviously, with my administration side of things, I want lean. I want real lean. That's why we go with the VA and the member services, right? With my coaching team, I actually want a bigger team than I need, because the last thing I want in my coaching team, especially, is a three-legged table, right? So a three-legged table would be a table that if any one leg disappears, you're fucked. The table falls over, right? And that's what most gyms are. Most gyms, even if you think you have enough staff, if one of those coaches walks out the door and gets hit by a car, or decides to chase a girl across Europe, or just decides that they want to go back to uni, you're fucked. So your freedom, the little freedom that you have right now, is conditional, right? You're in the Caribbean sitting on a beach sipping Mai Tais, and then you get a message saying that Coach Johnny just broke his leg. Well, you're on the first flight home. You don't actually have freedom. So I want, if I only need technically 4 coaches, I want 6. Now, they don't all have to be full-time coaches, right? That would be overkill. But that's why we have 2 layers, right? We have our coaches and our assistant coaches. But because everyone went through a coach development program, a legit coach development program where they were educated, and not just this, shadow me, watch me, learning by osmosis bullshit. But because we actually taught people properly, those assistant coaches, they can step up any day of the week and coach a class like a rock star. Yeah. And regularly we will have them do that just to keep them sharp. But the point is number one, I have redundancy within my coaching team, right? I can lose, 2 of my coaches tomorrow, and all I have to do is make a quick phone call. Everybody basically moves up a ladder, right? It's the same as in the military, right? If someone gets shot, everybody moves up a rank, effectively in their responsibilities, and we still have capacity. So that's one reason. The other reason is we're going to build a great job for these people, but they have to know that job is conditional on their performance, right? So if I'm a coach, I'm a full-time coach, but I know that behind me, there's 3 or 4 assistant coaches, or, number 2 coaches, whatever you want to call them, that are hungry for a position and they're good at what they do. I'm going to turn up every day. I'm going to coach the shit out of classes. I'm going to perform, because if I don't perform, my job is not secure, right? If I don't perform, there's these other young bucks over here that want to take my job immediately. So, competition encourages performance in this sense. So that's the staffing structure that we have. Is from an administrative side, we keep it very simple: a VA and a member services, and obviously a cleaning team. And I mean a cleaning team. You don't just have your coaches clean; they're professionals. If the gym gets dirty, someone drops a chalk bucket or something, coaches clean it. But in terms of a deep clean that happens every day, wiping down the bars, mopping the mats, cleaning the toilets, we have a cleaning team that does that.
So
and then
here,
on the coaching side of things,
the cleaning team, it's a third party, right? That's the only third party that you have.
I've tried both. It really depends. A lot of times, third-party cleaning companies can not be great, because they're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. Sometimes you can find companies that do a really good job. I plenty of times, personally, I lean more towards at-risk members. So if we have financially at-risk members who perhaps they love what they do, they really want to keep training, but they can't afford it. And often these are students, single mums, that kind of stuff. I will give them the opportunity, and it's very passive. Like if they want to say no, that's fine. But hey, look, if you want to come in and just clean 2 nights a week for an hour each, I'll give you, you'll be a part of the team. It's not just a barter. You are a part of the team. They get a team t-shirt, everything. And it's only 2 nights a week, by the way, because I need it to be a better deal for them than it is for me, because it's cleaning. It sucks, right?
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to be doing is have my cleaning team quitting every 2 weeks. And then every 2 weeks, I've got to find new cleaners, right? If I want freedom, I want them to get an amazing deal, like 2 hours work for a membership. That's not so bad. So yeah, either way, I've had success, and our boxers have had success with outsourcing it to a company, or it also depends where you live, by the way. Like outsourcing to a cleaning team in Australia is extremely expensive, right? Just because wages here are crazy high. But in, when I suggested in South Africa that you could, barter with one of your members, they laughed at me, because cleaners in South Africa cost, $4 an hour or some craziness. And so it does depend on your economy and the ROI of that.
Yeah, yeah. So just to recap, you said a cleaning team, you said a VA, you said a head coach, you said coaches, of course, the gym owner. Do you have a general manager?
No. I want the business to be so simple that it shouldn't need a general manager, right? Because think about it this way. This is one thing that we miss a lot. What we do is extremely simple if we let it be simple, right? So we all know how to run a great class. So just do that 10 times a day. And we all know that every day we have the same administration tasks. So do those every day. And every week we have certain administration tasks. So do them every week and every month and every quarter and every year. And then that's it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't change.
The gym owner is the general manager. That's why you work 8 hours a week.
Exactly, right. Your job as the owner is just little tweaks in direction, right? When the ship starts to get off course, you course correct a little bit, right? That's your job. But you don't need to, the reason I don't use the term general manager is because I don't need anyone to go in and put out fires. There shouldn't be fires in the gym. You know what I mean? Like this idea of shit's crazy, right? There's a great book called It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansen. And the whole point of their book is when someone says, oh, how's the gym going? Your response shouldn't be, oh yeah, crazy, right? And that's something we all do a lot. But it should almost be like, yeah, good, boring a little bit, right? And that's a big part of the mentality problem we work with boxers on is as A-type personalities, we like to do, we like to go, we like to tweak, we like to move, we like to more and more and more and more. And we tell gyms that you will drive straight past the perfect gym, right? You'll be so obsessed with changing and doing and adding and fucking around with things that you'll go and the perfect gym is right here and you'll develop straight past it. And it was a perfect balance. You had the right systems, the right coaching team, and everything was calm and everything was it's the minimum required dosage, right? If you need this much medicine to make you better, taking double that's not going to make you double better. So why put in that extra effort?
So I would say you get a great system via Thai. You get a great client acquisition system via me.
Absolutely.
Now you have 4 gyms. Thai just said that with one gym, you just need to work 8 hours per week.
Maximum, by the way.
Maybe you have 4 locations now. 4 locations times 8 hours, that's 32 hours. Now, actually, you could now hire a general manager, and now it's 0 hours that you work.
Right, 100%. Again, the 8 hours is maximum off the floor time, right? And okay. So let's say our 8 hours is breakdown. It doesn't work perfectly like this, but to make it simple, 2 hours a day, 4 days a week. Every day has a theme. So Monday is retention. If all you do is put your head down and work aggressively for 2 hours on retention and you're doing the right tasks, then that's retention done for the week. You're done. And by the way, this is why it doesn't work perfectly into 2 hours. The Monday retention tasks that we get people to do is actually 30 minutes. We can't fill the 2 hours. 2 hours is too long. Tuesday is member acquisition. We don't call it marketing anymore because we used to call it marketing and people just went straight to Facebook or straight to Instagram or straight to digital platform of some sort. But the truth is member acquisition can be picking up a list of all of your ex-members and calling them and caring, not calling them with a deal, but calling them as a coach.
We start with that within the program now.
Beautiful. Because when people say, oh, I need help with Facebook ads. No, you don't. You want more members. Firstly, they don't actually want more members. They want more money, but they're too scared to say that. So we start there first, right? What's your average client value? What are your profit margins? Let's fix that first. But if you just want more members, think about all of the stuff you've got to go through when someone doesn't know what you do and you have to educate them and you have to treat them as a lead and you have to get them into your intro and then your on-ramp. Or call up Bob, who used to train with you 8 months ago. Tell him you care. Call him as his coach, not as a business owner. Give him a Moab, a mother of all bonuses, right? A reason to come back. And guess what? Bob just walks into the gym. He signs paper and he's in class. End of. You had a 30-second voice message, a couple of texts back and forth, and he signed a bit of paper, and now you have a member, right? So exactly, because you cared, right? So that's why we don't call Tuesday marketing anymore. We call it member acquisition. If you're at a position where you need and you should be doing, traditional marketing stuff, right? Marketing like you teach guys with the ads and stuff, cool. But whatever gets more people, right? Wednesday is administration. So whether it's membership based, so signups, cancellations, and holds, or whether it's payroll, or whether it's tax, or whether it's any of that sort of stuff, we do that on Wednesdays. And again, 2 hours is plenty of time. If you have more administration than you can get done aggressively within 2 hours, then your business has too many moving parts. It's too complicated. Thursday is product and team. So product meaning, CrossFit or whatever it is that your product is, martial arts, yoga, personal training. How do you sit down and you say, how do I make this better? Right? I don't want to be doing the same shit I was doing 5 years ago, right? Especially with my intro and my on-ramp process. And where's the tweak? Where's that extra 1%, right? Imagine if every week you looked at your product and you got an extra 1% or an extra 0.5% out of it, right? How much better are you in 5 years' time, right? So we do product and then we do team, right? Thursday is your day to be a leader. So if that means your monthly team meeting where you sit down with your guys and you go through and you listen, by the way, team meetings are to listen, not to talk. Or whether it's once a month, we believe that you should be catching up as long as you're in the gym, obviously. You should be catching up with your team. So if you're there, you're having coffee. If you're not there, you're having a Skype chat. You're listening as well, right? There should be no surprises from your team. It shouldn't be out of nowhere, my coach just up and left and took a bunch of members. That only happened because either A, you didn't ask, or B, they were too scared to tell, right? You're a bad leader. Simple as that. Hard to hear, but that's the truth. So Thursday is for team development. Friday is for catch up. So if there's anything, look, shit happens. You get sick on a Tuesday, your kid has a sports day on Thursday. Sometimes things, happen. So if you need to catch up because you didn't get anything done, that happens on a Friday. But your reward, if you did get Monday through Thursday done, Friday is freedom day. So take the day off, or, we always have Nerf guns and stuff like that in the offices. So have a Nerf war, right? What is your passion, right? For me, passion is photography and videography, right? But I'm not making money off it. It's just a passion. So I'll get my camera out on a Friday and I'll go take photos, right? Whatever it is, maybe Friday is just your training day where you uninterrupted, you get to go deep, not just a quick workout, but a 2-hour grinder that you want to do. But it's freedom day, but you have to fucking earn it. You don't just get that. And again, so that's 8 hours all up, Monday through Thursday, if you do the right thing. Again, Tuesday is quite easy to fill the 2 hours with member acquisition. Monday is very hard to fill the 2 hours. Again, you can do a lot of retention stuff. You can have busy work if you want, but the 2 core strategies we use for retention, they take about 30 minutes. And that's it. But here's the cool thing. Monday retention, you can get someone, your member services manager should be doing that anyway. That's their job. So now you have 0 hours. Tuesday, member acquisition, right? I can definitely train one of my coaches to do that, or my member services person, because most of it, like you said, is about care. And that's how I hire my member services manager, is about who cares. Wednesday is administration. My VA does most of my administration. Thursday is product and team. That's on me. Part of it will be on the head coach because they are the leader of the coaches, but a lot of it is going to be on me. But again, it doesn't need to be a lot of work. So the point I'm getting at is 8 hours a week sounds good. It would be a great book title, but the truth is we've got a lot of box owners that do just nothing a week, right? Because, by the way, because they want to. If you're in love with your gym and you're in love with coaching still, and that's where you want to be there. Be there 60 hours a week if you want, but you're there because you want to, not because the business needs you to.
Maybe they have to pay for more people, right? But at least now they don't even work 8 hours a week. And if they
Absolutely.
go travel the world and they go to South America and they go to Asia, actually, they don't need that much money, right?
No, exactly. So, most people won't know this, I'm sure, but I've just gotten back a couple of months ago from a 6-month world tour. So I travel a lot for work. I travel most of the year for work. But I decided last year that,
Nice all over the world, right?
yeah. So we sold our house, we sold our car, we sold everything we owned. We packed up our stuff, my wife, my daughter, and myself, and we traveled the world for 6 months. And we spent
And I'm
less
the same.
money.
I'm nomadic right now.
Right. Now, I don't want to kind of compare oranges to oranges because we both own online businesses. Obviously, it's a little bit easier. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's something that we're seeing box owners do again and again. So why not? Here's the challenge I'll put out to people because I love it because CrossFitters are competitive. There's other people doing it. Why not you? Unless you're willing to go, oh, they're better than me, which,
So
CrossFitters won't say that, right? We're competitive. So get competitive.
if you have only one gym, it might be hard to have like an incredible income working 0 hours a week. But now that you systemized everything, you can open that second location, you can open
Mhm.
that third location, you can open that fourth location.
Mhm.
You put like now a general manager that would handle the 4 gyms,
Right.
and now 4 gym, well, you can have a great income, and you can live in the US
Yeah.
and you don't work at all, and you have a great
Yeah.
income.
Now, I would say I agree, but I would also say that the large majority of highly successful gyms, so successful across all metrics, everything from members are fit and happy and getting results all the way up to their financials and their lifestyle is good. Most of them are single gym owners. So you can definitely multiple gyms works, right? But we have a lot of gyms, more than ever right now, that are doing $1 million revenue a year. Because here's the thing, right? You said before, if you can just spend a little bit more money and trade that in for freedom, why not, right? People need to fix their thinking about money. Money is a metric you can manipulate. When you get your mind right, the easiest thing in the world is making more money because you just can. You just do it. Increase your value, charge more, change the structure of your business, make sure that you're productizing the things that need to be productized. Like, making money is not fucking difficult. In terms of the hardest things now, if you have a fucked mentality, making money will be the hardest thing you ever do. If your relationship with money is wrong, then it'll be the hardest thing you ever do, right? So if we have this metric, money, that is easily manipulatable, right? Manipulatable. I think I just made up a word. But we can choose to make more money, and if we action it, we make more money. It's that simple. Then getting to a point of where your financial freedom is there is not that hard. So we're seeing, and I don't like throwing numbers around because I don't want to. I don't like these kind of bullshit, $1 million, 8 hour a day, like they're kind of catchphrases almost. But the simple fact is we're seeing a lot of gyms, right? And again, not the majority at all, but enough where it's not a fluke anymore, that are making $1 million a year, where the owners are taking $250,000 wage a year, right? Or, a combination of maybe 100,000 wage and then the rest in dividends. And, they're moving it around so that they're not getting taxed out the arsehole. But the point is you can make money off one gym. You absolutely can. You can make and by the way, these gyms, they might be walking away with 100 grand, 150 grand themselves, but their coaches are walking away with 80, 100 grand for a head coach. Like, they're on an entrepreneur's wage, and their staff are on professional wages, right? Now, if you have a bad mentality around value and money, and you're going to keep charging $130 a month, yeah, you're fucked. And by the way, opening multiple gyms will not make you any more money, right? Your relationship with money is broken. Your relationship with value is broken. There's nothing I can do for you until we fix that. And that's why I love, you work with mindset first. We do the same. We work with mindset before we touch anything else. But if you can understand that this is a metric that's flexible and go, well, hang on, what if I just charge $300 a week? Sorry, a month. Oh, a week, that'd be nice. So what if I just charge $300 a month? Let's start with that. Reverse engineer. Okay, what would that product look like? Right. Let's build the product to charge the price that we want, not the other way around. Not looking at your competitors and going, oh, what are they charging? Who gives a fuck? Your competitors will be closed in 6 months' time, and you'll buy their rowers on Facebook Marketplace for cheap. Don't worry about those guys, right?
It's pissing me off when gym owners try to decrease their prices, and they think it's a good idea because now they are the cheapest in. Do not
You're
do
done.
this. It's not a race to the bottom. You got to go up.
Exactly. It doesn't matter because all these gyms, they want to compare themselves to the other gyms' prices, but they also want to tell me and you that they're the best gym in town. Well, which is it? Do you offer the most value, or are you the cheapest?
And you can't.
And also, this is another mindset thing while we're here. Why are you telling me about, why are you referring to your business within the town? Why do you want to be the best box in town? Why can't you be the best box in the state or the country or the world, right? I feel like I'm an authority to some point on the best boxes in the world. That's my job, is to find them and to work out why. Yeah. Why can't your gym be the one that I say is the best box in the world?
Yeah, I don't want the cheapest box or the cheapest gym in town. I want to go to the best gym in the US, or the best gym in Canada, or the best gym. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, there's enough people. It doesn't matter where you are. For God's sakes, I've worked with a yoga studio in Siem Reap in Cambodia, right? So for those who've never been to Cambodia, it's a third world country, and it looks like it, right? It absolutely is. It's a beautiful place, has a special spot in my heart, but it is a third world country. This yoga studio has a maximum of 250 members, which they're always maxed out. They have a waiting list, right? And they charge $200 a month in Cambodia. And I've got boxes in, whether it's the US or Australia or UK or South Africa or wherever, telling me that they can't charge more than 150.
Yes,
and my response when people say, "Oh, we can't charge more than that," my response is, "Well, no, of course you can't with that fucking attitude, right?" The reason that the yoga studio in Siem Reap can charge that much is because they went, all right, a normal Cambodian can't afford this, right? $200 is more than a normal Cambodian earns in a couple of months, right? But there's enough people, it's only a small amount, but there's enough people in Siem Reap that are people like you or I who travel the world, who work remotely, who have disposable income and can afford to spend a lot of money on one thing. If you can make your product that one thing, if you can make it so special, which is what they've done, that people, I can spend $200 a month on yoga in Siem Reap because I'm spending $5 a day on really nice food. I'm spending $3 a day on a massage. Like, I have disposable income. Even if I'm not rich, I have a lot of disposable income. And so all of a sudden, that one thing, if they can show value in that one thing, magical. So the problem is not your community. The problem is not the economy. The problem is not your demographics. The problem is you and your mentality and your relationship with money and value.
Yeah. Instead of reducing the price, increase the value, because when you increase the value, then you provide a better outcome, better results, and more fun to your clients. And at the end of the day, that's what they want. They want you to be healthy, and they want you to have fun while doing it.
Yep, 100%, man. 100%.
If they go at 24-hour fitness or LA Fitness, well, they're not gonna get that. You are a high-end premium gym. Well, you need to charge what you're worth, and you need to increase the value all the time.
And I'll say this, you are a high-end premium gym, whether you like it or not. Look at your price, right? If you're charging even a low-end price for CrossFit, it's still a premium price for a gym, right? So this is the thing, is when I walk in the gyms where the service is shitty, the bathrooms are dirty, the attitude is wrong, the culture is wrong. It doesn't matter whether you want to accept that you're high-end, that you're premium. You are. Your price, as soon as you go over $100 a month, congratulations, you are now premium. Act like it, right? Pull up your big boy or your big girl pants and sit back and say, okay, cool. We're great coaches. Awesome. Pat on the back. Well done. Now what? How do we make this experience better? Because it has to be, guys. It has to be. Yeah.
Love that. Do you work with third parties? Let's say, who is handling finances?
So anything that's not my specialty, or even if it is, but it's just it affects my freedom, I outsource. So we always contract an accountant. For the bigger gyms, once they start to get to kind of around that $500,000 to $600,000 a year mark, we start going with an accountant and a financial advisor, because all of a sudden where
The
you
CFO,
put money and how you structure the company, it starts to be very important. Yeah, so we always have an accountant. We always have a financial advisor. If you need a bookkeeper, you can. But personally, we usually we'll get our VAs to do a bookkeeping course.
yeah, like you can hire actually an accountant, let's say in India, that you're
Yes,
gonna
100%.
$9 an hour that is gonna do your bookkeeping in with QuickBooks.
Yep, way easier, way easier. Also, the financial advisor is something you can do through Upwork as well. They don't need to be face to face,
Right?
and they'll be a lot cheaper. Yeah, so we do work with people like that. Depending on the size, some gyms, mainly multiple location gyms, is when we start looking at a legal team. So we'll have a retainer for a legal team. But again, this is why I say to people, look, I've had multiple gyms before. It's the value you get and the freedom that you get from one gym is a lot more worth it to me than multiple gyms. So when people say, should I open a second gym? My answer is no, unless that's what you want, unless you want to be an entrepreneur, right? For me, I'm an entrepreneur first and a coach second, right? So I like having multiple businesses. Business is my hobby. Business is my passion first and foremost. If that's who you are, then play the game, right? Play the entrepreneur multiple gym game, right? But if not, the idea that you can't have the freedom, financial and time wise, that you want from one gym, it's a limiting belief, and you're absolutely wrong. And so just have one gym. Just keep it simple.
And spend the time with your 3 kids, or go travel the world, or go enjoy your life.
Exactly. Or go start another business, try out another hobby. A lot of people come to CrossFit from another occupation. They're an office worker and they get fed up with that. And now what I'm seeing is a lot of people have kind of a second rebirth of that, where they've been a CrossFit owner for 10 years and now they want to, my good friend Vakey, who's next door, a lot of you guys who know me know him. He ran a gym for a long time and still runs one, but he had two. And then he just decided that he wanted to be a creative. He wanted to be a photographer and a videographer. And so he's kind of on that new journey, but he can, because he has the freedom from running successful gyms.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So just to recap, actually, no general manager. With the right system, the gym owner can only work 8 hours a week. You need coaches that you pay well. You need a head coach. Is the head coach the one that sells? Let's say that you have one-on-one consultations at the gym. Right. Is he the one selling?
Yeah, so it'll be a team effort between the member services and a coach, not necessarily the head coach, because again, I want to make sure I put the right peg in the right hole. So the head coach is the head coach because they have leadership and management experience. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have, I don't even want to say sales. When I say sales, I just mean being a good person, being a vibrant, being a magnetic person. So with our intro and on-ramp process, that is all handled by either the one person or two people if you need, but it is that kind of person. I don't really care how good a coach they are, because they're not coaching complex movements in that first couple of weeks anyway. What I care about is that this is the kind of person that when the prospect goes home and tells their husband or their wife or their mum or their dad about that CrossFit class they just did, they're talking about the person that coached them, not about the movements. They're, this guy, look, we all have it, and guys don't like to admit this, but sometimes you meet people and within 30 seconds you go, I want to be this guy's friend. I wonder if he wants to have a beer. I wonder if he wants to hang out sometime, right? And I had this a couple of days ago with a barista. I ordered coffee, and in the 10-second interaction that we had, I was like, I like this dude. This is a good dude. I'm not going to ask him if he wants to catch up for a beer. That'd be weird. But it's those kind of people that I want to put into that first client acquisition phase. So I'm less concerned about their ability to sell, right, in a traditional sense of selling. I'm more concerned about their ability to sell through personality, and then obviously the systems. We talk about slippery systems, right? So systems that are designed inherently for people to slip from one level to the next, right? There is no sell, because a sell traditionally is kind of pushing someone over a hurdle, right? An objection. I want to make them so slippery that we don't need to push anyone. People will just slide to the end result, which is becoming a long-term member. So that sales process will be a combination of the member services in their receptionist role and the coaches that are doing the on-ramp.
I'm taking a lot of notes, by the way. I'm learning a
Cool,
lot
man.
here.
Awesome.
So I totally agree with that. You don't need coaches that have the best squat.
No.
That's not the kind of coach that you want. You want to have coaches that have a good personality, that are able to inspire, that are able to motivate. You might not like Soul Cycle programming. You're familiar with Soul Cycle all the time.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I don't think they have the best cyclists on earth at Soul Cycle.
No.
I don't think they have, people from, the Tour de France. I don't think so. But yeah, I'm on Soul Cycle Instagram. I don't think you can read.
Yeah, I follow them. It's great.
It's a screenshot from a client called Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca is quoting what a coach said this morning at Soul Cycle. If you are looking around this room in judgment or comparison, you are missing the point. This is your team, your inspiration. If you can have this kind of coach, that's what you need.
Yeah, I actually screenshotted that post yesterday.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I liked it, right? I'm following Soul Cycle.
It's beautiful, man. And this is a thing that a lot of boxers are missing out on, right? You need an element of fun and performance. A lot of places, Soul Cycle does this. Ministry of Sound now has Ministry of Sound Fitness. They have gyms now. There's a lot of places, and when they advertise for coaches, they don't do an interview, they do an audition, and they're not looking for coaches, they're looking for performers, right? Now, you still have to be a legit coach, right? They don't get rid of that. But they need someone who can hold an audience, who can keep people happy, who, we've all seen and probably been at some point, that dry coach. I'm technical, do this, step 1, step 2, go. But it's 2019, that's not enough. You need to be a technical coach and a performer and an entertainer and someone who's fun and someone who can hold someone's attention. Now, the good news is if you're passionate and you wear your care, that happens organically. I don't need to teach people how to be a performer because I don't want it to be contrived, right? I want it to be organic and natural. But
the technical aspect, the technical aspect is important, but it's not the most important. The most important is about inspiring people.
And they're not mutually exclusive. It's okay for them to both be important. It's not like you have to choose, well, you can either be an interesting, fun, entertaining coach or a technical coach, but you can't be both. You absolutely can. It doesn't make a difference, and so if you can be, then do it, man. Like we're competing. We're not competing with other boxers down the road. We're competing with Soul Cycle. We're competing with F45. We're competing with Orange Theory. We're competing with Ministry of Sound Fitness, right? And what these people have over us is the energy, right? So we have to bring that energy. We have to bring that service. That is what will win. I don't give a fuck how many weightlifting certificates you've got. I don't care how many people you got to regionals in 2013. This is what matters today. You can still change people's lives. You can still make them fit. You can still get them to the games if you really want. But you have to have service and you have to have fun. You cannot miss out on those things.
Because you're not going to grow a gym with elite people. Elite people is maybe 5% of the population. You need to inspire Mrs. Jones that stayed on her couch for 11 years, that didn't do anything for 11 years except eating ice cream on her couch. Well, if you have a competitor that competes and that don't have good people skills, sure, great muscle up. But now to motivate Mrs. Jones, he's not going to be able to do it.
And again, we talked about this yesterday in the other chat, but those your top 1% or 5% athletes, that's cool, but they don't need you. If you close your business tomorrow, they'll just go somewhere else. They'll find somewhere else. But your bottom 50% of members that were on the couch for years before they came to you close tomorrow, they're back on the couch, right? They're back shortening their lives. They're back on diabetes medication, right? So when it comes down to who needs us, I get that it can get old teaching an air squat, you know, a million times over, but they're the people that need this. So if you want to say that I care and I want to change lives and it's not just lip service, if you really mean that, focus on the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. So could you please just explain a little bit in more details the member services? What is it? You said that it was a receptionist.
Yes.
What
Okay, so the number one job of the member services is to bookend a member's experience, right? So on a day-to-day basis, their bookending is as soon as that person walks through the door, you make them feel special, right?
Okay.
That's you have 4 seconds to as soon as they walk through. Hey, Remy, how you doing, man? Hey, how was the Tough Mudder on the weekend? Awesome, buddy. Well done, man. Hey, you're gonna love today's workout. Have fun, right? That's their job. It's really simple. Everyone just wants to be seen, right? We go through day to day, and sometimes our family don't even see us. Sometimes at work, people usually don't see us. Like, we just want to be acknowledged. Like, all I'm doing is you walk in the door and I'm going, hey, Remy, you're special, right? That's good enough, right? That's what people will remember. That sets the tone for the rest of the experience. Then at the end of the class, I need to bookend it at the end and again make you feel special. Hey, Remy, awesome. Did I see you hit PR? Awesome, dude. You're fucking killing it, man. Hey, you come to the paddleboarding on the weekend? It'd be so good to have you there. All right, we'll see you there, buddy. Right. This is I'm going to put this role, someone who can do this role well, I'm going to put them on par with a good coach in terms of the value they bring my business, right? Because this is incredibly important. So they bookend the experience at a micro level. At a macro level, they bookend the experience in terms of the whole experience. So at one end, we have the sign up, and at the other end, we have the cancellation, right? So I want to make people feel good at both ends, right? And a lot of people, it's easy to make people feel special at sign up, but at cancellation, we have a saying, love them on the way out the way you loved them on the way in, right? So our cancellation process is all about the member experience, because just because they're canceling today does not mean they'll never be back, does not mean that they're not out there talking about us, right? This person, just because they're not going to be paying us for a little while, and I'm going to get them back eventually, that's my mentality, but they are still special and I need to treat them as such. So in a broader experience, in a broader sense, sorry, their job is to bookend the member experience. From a more practical day-to-day, their receptionist roles are to answer all incoming inquiries that they're there for, because they're not going to be there for usually like 20 hours a week is the max that these people will be on there. So there's that. There's the receptionist jobs of selling pro shop items. And actually, by the way, selling pro shop items, not being there passively waiting for someone to buy, but they need to be, hey, Remy, have you tried the, really good work today, by the way, but have you tried the new flavor of Kill Cliff we've got? Do you want to try? I've got some here. Here, try some. There you go. Oh yeah, do you want one? Awesome. And now you're addicted to that flavor of Kill Cliff. You're going to buy one every single day. Your average client value has just gone up by $60 a month, right? So little things like this make a massive difference. Then the retention roles. So almost any member related services. So retention calls, which is, you know, our absent member calls if someone doesn't turn up, our 2, 4, 6 week calls for new members, because the first 60 days is hard. So we need to be there to support them. Anyone who's an at-risk member, so anyone who's on holiday, on hold, is injured, is going through financial stuff, they manage those people. And then any kind of liaison between members and coaches, right? Because your coaches are good coaches. Doesn't mean they're good communicators, doesn't mean they're good at booking PTs, or like, that's the member services person is the go-between for that communication so that it's done, right? A coach, it's easy for a coach to forget about, you know, getting back to someone's email. Whereas the member services is there to make sure that is done, that we have consistency. So that's the core of their job. And then, you know, that would be the day-to-day, week-to-week, you know, consistent stuff. And then the other stuff that comes up more periodically is every 3 months, they'll be responsible for, because they're responsible for retention. So every 3 months, they'll be responsible for the social activities, retention events. So they'll block out, you know, you don't do it every month because that's bad planning. So 3 months, I'll plan out the next 3 events. So, you know, rock climbing, climbing a mountain, and paddleboarding. And they'll do all of that. They'll plan it. They'll put up the liaise with the coaches or the owner or whoever needs to run it. They'll liaise with the graphic designer on Upwork to make sure that we have the posters and the social stuff that we need for it. But that's more periodical stuff that comes up, you know, every quarter or so. But
Nice.
that's the main kind of breakdown of their goal. But more than anything, their job is to make people feel special, make them feel seen.
So I'm just gonna do one last recap. I think I'm clear now.
Sure.
uh, I'm just gonna take some notes, make people feel special for the member services.
For sure.
So just to recap, as a gym owner, you only need to work 8 hours a week if you have the right system. If you don't have that, work with Ty.
Mm-hmm.
You need coaches that you pay well so that they are happy and they stay and they take care of your clients. You need a head coach. You need a VA. You need member services, so front desk manager, receptionist. The role of the receptionist, front desk manager is for retention and also to keep a high vibe at the gym, make them feel special. You need a cleaning team. The salespersons are going to be the coaches or the head coach or maybe the receptionist too, right? The ones that are comfortable with sales. Some coaches will not be, some others will be. You just find the best salespersons out of your member services or coaches or head coach. And then
to clarify, the majority of the heavy lifting in sales is done by the process. It's the process. It's the demonstration of value and making sure that the right things happen at the right time, that we set people up to buy. Like even the on-ramp is designed to peak and explode at the end. And we give people this incredible, like we're designing the last workout of our on-ramp because people are going to sign up after the on-ramp, hopefully. We're designing it around things like what is going to give people the highest rush of endorphins physiologically, what is going to be a workout that is not going to ruin people's brains and kind of scatter them because I want them to be able to make a financial decision. What is the workout that's not going to give them soreness the next day so that we can avoid buyer's remorse? So this is the switch from coach to owner that we need to make. So I do want people who can sell, but they sell from passion. I want the majority of the strategic stuff in sales to actually be kind of dictated by the systems. The systems, the process does the heavy lifting in sales. I just need good people who are passionate, who say the right things at the right time.
Awesome. So we had a comment. Angie was saying, "I've only been open for 4 months. I'm all ears."
Yes.
So yes. What would be your best advice you could give to Angie? We already shared a lot here.
Absolutely.
So there's been an hour and
Absolutely.
a half. We're gonna wrap it up soon.
We're killing it.
What would be your best advice to Angie?
Absolutely. So Angie, number one, even before that, right? Our bedrock before we get into systems, because systems is good because it's practical and we can press buttons and write things. But before we get into that, Angie, you've got to define your culture, which is very hard to do when you're when you're pre-opening, right? Because it's all theoretical, right? But now you have a vibe, right? You have a base group of members. Maybe you have a base group of coaches or a single coach, or maybe it's still just you. But now you need to sit down and say, okay, now that I've got a feel for the place, what is our culture? Not in some ephemeral way, right? Not in some magical language, but this is how we work it out. What do we stand for? And we write a list of all the things we stand for. And these will all be feel-good words, like results, respect, inclusivity, safety, professionalism. And these are great words, but they actually mean nothing by themselves. So we do that first. Then we take those words and we say, okay, what's the practical expression of each of these words, right? So for professionalism, right, the practical expression might be starting and ending classes on time, knowing people's names, turning up in uniform, being well-groomed, not talking politics or religion in class, right? These are all practical expressions. So you'll have a big list of practical expressions that have come from your core beliefs, from what you stand for. Then you take those and you start systematizing them. You ask yourself, okay, how do I guarantee that coaches start and end on time? What system would do that? How do I guarantee that we understand the limits of what we can communicate and what we can't, whether it's swearing or whether it's talking about politics and religion or whatever it is? How can I guarantee that coaches aren't working out before class so they're turning up sweaty? So that's how we take culture that is just a feel-good bullshit, mist of an idea, and we turn it into actual practical stuff. Then you do exactly the same thing with the opposite. what won't we stand for, right? What are the things that we absolutely, that are just not acceptable in our class, right? In our culture. So we write down again the general ideas that are all just feel good words or feel bad words in this case. Then we say, okay, what's the practical expression of that? And then how do we systematize that out of our business? So for everyone listening, like before you get into anything, right? What is your culture? Don't just say you've got a good culture, because everyone says that now and you're full of shit, right? What is your culture? And by the way, if I ask you what it is, and then I ask one of your coaches what it is, and then I ask one of your new members what it is, and I get a different answer from everybody, you don't have a culture, right? You have your version of it. You have what you think it is, right? So we have to define it. We have to lead from it. So that would be step one. Step two is going to be the systems, which is cool because it's kind of built into step one. If you're not sure where to start with systems, do it chronologically, right? So chronologically, our member experience starts with an inquiry, right? So, okay, break it down. What inquiries do we have? We have phone, we have walk-ins, and we have text, right? And text includes email, Facebook, WhatsApp, SMS, everything. Because why would I have 5 different systems when realistically I'm going to reply exactly the same way to all of them? Then you have your intro, then you have your on-ramp, then you have sign up, then you have the classes. So if you're not sure where to start with systems, don't write a list, just start chronologically, right? The wrong system is better than no systems. So Angie, at 4 months, that's where I would start. But also if she was at 10 years and said that, the business just wasn't going in the right way, I'd tell her to do exactly the same thing. Almost every box needs to start by clarifying their direction.
Yeah. And then once they got their direction, their culture, their vision, their messaging, then now it's time to work on the systems. And after the systems, now it's time to work on the client acquisition system.
Absolutely.
You sell systems. I saw on your website.
Yep.
You have actually Google sites that you can customize. You provide all the systems, and then the gym owner can tweak it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
we're super proud of it.
On your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just, I don't know. You document everything that you do so that you can train other people, and you document and you systemize everything. Mm-hmm. That might take you, I don't know, 6 months to do that. Or you get Ty's system, you have it right away, and then the only thing that you need to do is maybe to take a month or two to tweak it and make it yours.
Exactly. Yeah. We realized that number one, just the writing of systems people weren't doing, right? It's just too much of it's such a big job, and it's so intimidating, and people don't know where to start. And the truth is it's not, but that's how people perceive it. And then the second problem was how people execute on systems, right? Written down systems, they're better than nothing, but they're very fallible, right? You've got an operations manual up on a shelf. It's almost useless. It's not quite useless, but it's pretty close. So we did a lot of research, myself and a good friend of mine, Cody, who owns WOD Sites. And we eventually kind of came upon the idea of, well, if we use a software called Google Sites, which, by the way, if you guys want, you can just do this for free. What we've built, you can build it for free. You don't have to give us a cent if you don't want, but you've got to be willing to put in a lot of work. Google Sites allows us to.
So it's a shortcut so that they don't have so much work to do. Now they just need to tweak.
Yes.
Maybe, you did 90% of the work. Now they just got to do the other percent so that they tweak it and then make it yours.
Exactly. And to manage expectations on how much work it takes to build these from scratch, Cody and I, this is what we do. We're very good at it. It took us 2.5 years to build this from scratch. Obviously, we're working on it part-time, but so will you. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, but it is possible if you don't have the money. I think we've underpriced it to the point because we want it in people's hands. It's so cheap. Right? I tell you what, it's $1,400 US. But if anyone watching this uses the coupon code EARNIT, EARNIT, all in caps, you get $200 off. Right? This is something we usually only give away at the start. But this is, it's something crazy. I think it's 62 systems, all categorized into different categories like retention, marketing, operations, coaching, and I think, 50 videos, 50 something, sheets, whether it's a phone script or a checklist or whatever. It's everything we could possibly imagine. And some of these systems took us a couple of weeks to build, like the hiring, discipline, and firing process for staff. That took us a couple of weeks to really work through it and get it right. So, look, if you guys are interested, check it out. Check it out on our website.
How much is the discount you said?
It's $1,400 US, 1,400. But if you use the discount code Earn It, all in caps, then it's 1,200. And we have a 3-month payment plan, which there's no penalty for doing a 3-month payment plan. You can divide it into 3. You're good to go. We want it to be affordable.
Angie saying, thanks guys, good stuff. This is the stuff that headquarters should be teaching us with our franchise fee.
You're preaching to the converted here, Angie. But thank you very much, Angie. I hope that helped.
You've been a gym owner for 4 months. It's either you build your systems yourself. Well, it's not gonna cost you any money to do it. It's gonna take you your time. Time to 2.5 years to do it. So it's easier. You do it yourself. You take 2.5 years, or it's 1.2K. It's so cheap. I can't believe that today he's selling this for 1.2K.
I know. My wife yells at me every time. Also, guys, what's really important here is if you just want somewhere to host your own systems, so you already have systems down pat, it's a great buy. But also understand that these aren't my systems that I ran my gym on. These are the systems that I've spent, like I said, the last 6.5 years traveling the world, obsessively finding these gyms and finding out what they do the best. So if there's a system in there that you don't have, I can almost guarantee that it's a best practice that works in your gym. Not only, like for example, Angie with a 4-month gym, there's a lot of things that you haven't experienced yet. There's a lot of things that you don't know you need to systematize because they just haven't happened in your gym. They might be a once a year or once every 2 year type thing. And so part of the value is the platform and the delivery. And so if you already have all your systems, maybe they're just not as organized as you'd like, the platform's amazing. But if you want the best practices, and we have a full 14-day refund if you don't like it. When you get it delivered, it's delivered with your branding. So when it turns up, it's affiliate solution or Vive Group isn't on there. It's yours. Your staff will see that it's yours. You share it with your staff. It actually works better on a mobile phone now than it did on computer. So your staff can be on their way to work on the train and looking at the new sales process that they have to do that they need to remind themselves on. What's most important, I'm going to shut up after this because I don't like selling this stuff. What's most important is it's a one-time payment. So you pay us the $1,400 or $1,200 with that discount code. That is it. Every time, so about every 6 months, we update systems. When we add new systems or update current systems, you get those systems. We will keep giving every time we have something to give, but you don't pay a single cent after that. It's yours for life.
Yeah, I love that, and I have the same ethic, and that's something that I really like about you, Ty. I think that we have the same values, right? I really like that you do this. I do the same. Thank you. We're just gonna answer to 2 more other questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Awesome, man. I could do this all day.
Eric Petty says, yes, that would be new for me. That was when we were speaking about virtual assistants. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of things set up, but I know they could be better. But I'm trying to come up with regular tasks a VA could help me with. Eric, Let me give you an idea. Let's say I think that you are using Wodify. Wodify gives you the last attendance, right? But that's all you have. It's not like you have a system that connects to like a text message service or to a Facebook Messenger service where if your members don't show up for a week, they get a text, an automated text to like make them come back, or at least be like, hey, how is it going? I didn't see you for a week. What's up? If you have a VA in the Philippines that you pay $3.5 an hour, you can say, hey, VA, every Monday at 9 a.m., I want you to go through Wodify, and here is the phone line for you to text my members. Here are their phone numbers in Wodify, right? If they didn't show up for more than a week or for more than 10 days, here are the text messages that you can send. You want to randomize a little bit. You're not going to just say, hey, what's up? You know, like all the time. You're going to change the messages, right? But that's definitely a task that you can delegate to a VA.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of like what we call concurrent activities. So just real kind of easy things that you can get VAs to do. So like if you're putting programming into, whether it's you're putting programming into websites or the website or your Facebook group or wherever you're doing, that's just simple data entry. That's a great place to start, right? Because that's just time and no one enjoys doing that. But in general, it's okay. And a lot of people think that there's a responsibility on them as a business owner to go to a VA and go, do this and this and that and this and this and that. Just hire them, jump on a Skype call like this and say, hey, really nice to meet you. If you wouldn't mind, I've actually never worked with a VA before. Would you mind if I just told you kind of what I do day to day and week to week? And then maybe you can tell me what you can help with. Because again, if you've never worked with a VA, you don't know their capacity, right? You don't want to be jumping in and saying, oh, can you do some graphic design for me? Because there's a pretty high chance that they can't, right? But there might be things where, you talk about, oh yeah, we measure injuries, and then they jump in and go, oh, do you have the data on all the injuries? What if I did a monthly injury report and I can make it a graphic so that you can see the type of injuries, was there a specific day of the week that was causing them or a time of the year? So as a programmer, I can reverse engineer my programming and adjust it. You might not think of that. A lot of what my VA does, she came up with the idea, right? But I just had to communicate what I do. So don't be afraid of being humble, guys. If you don't know how to use a VA, don't pretend you know how to use a VA. Just sit down with them, have a Skype call and say, hey, so nice to meet you. Do you mind if I just give you a bit of a rundown of what I do? And then you jump in, let me know what to do. Because also, by the way, if you're telling them from day one what to do and how to do it, there's a pretty good chance they have a better way to do it. This is their job. This is what they do, right? You might say, oh, use this software and do, and by the way, exactly. And
a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Just know, guys, that with the Filipinos especially, and that's who I do recommend, that's I wouldn't use anyone else for VA, to be honest. If you tell them to do something and you don't give them the opportunity to have a back and forth, they will just do what you want, even if it's wrong. They're very, very polite and they're very dutiful. They will just do what you say.
They're not going to argue, they're just going to execute on it. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have, instead of telling them what to do, say, hey, here's the outcome I'd like. The way I've been doing it is like this, but do you have a better way to do that? Yeah. Right? Just be humble and open to a conversation. Again, this is how you should be talking to your whole team. If you want to be a leader and not a boss, you should be having this back and forth. Surround yourself with experts. Tell the experts what outcome you want, and then let them tell you the best way to get that outcome.
Yeah, yeah. And
so, yeah, awesome question, Eric.
Very complicated to train a VA. Let's say that you have a Mac. You have QuickTime on your Mac. You can record your screen on your Mac.
Yeah.
Hey, VA. Hey, I don't know. Maybe her name is Luisa. Hey, Luisa. Here is my Wi-Fi. Here's the login. Here's the password. So you see, when you click here, well, you can see that column, the last attendance. Okay. You can copy this column and you put it in a Google spreadsheet. Then you compare, with the date, the current date. And then you just do a formula. So you do the last attendance, today minus the last attendance.
Yep.
Boom. Then you have all the number of days, since the last attendance. Then with a Google spreadsheet, you can be green, red. When it's green, it's fine. When it's red, well, we need to send a text.
Yep.
And then, here is my phone line, my business phone line. Here is how you send a message. Here is the kind of message I want you to send. That's it. The VA is trained in 3 minutes.
We've changed the way we word systems. We don't say you need to write systems, right? We say you need to build systems, because the majority of systems that we're writing are done exactly like that. Like, so much of what we do that we're going to get other people to do is done on a computer, right? So adding somebody into Zen Planner, or putting a membership on hold, or adding someone to our private Facebook group, it's all done online. So like you said, plug in your headphones, hit record, talk through it. We do the same thing, like an open routine. You know, how do you want the gym opened and prepared for the day's classes? Just get your phone out and say, hey guys, this is how we're going to open the gym each morning, and then walk around and show them, turn lights on, you know.
Here are the lights, here is the heater, or here's the fan, or yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So we don't say write systems anymore. We say build systems, because so much of it is going to be built through that visual, and it's easier for everybody. It's easier for you. It's faster for you. It's easier for the person following it. There's no missed instruction or misunderstanding of context and subtext like there would be if you typed it out. So yeah, awesome, Eric.
That button for the fan is maybe like hidden somewhere. Right. Now, if you
exactly
where the button is, shit. Mm-hmm. But if you record it, it's easy.
Yeah, that's very important as well for cleaning, because you know, if my instruction is just clean the toilets, if I've got a young student who's doing my cleaning tasks, you know, his mum was wiping his ass 3 weeks ago. He doesn't know what clean means. He just, you know, as long as there's not crap on the walls, it's clean to him. Whereas if I do a video, I can show the standards that I expect to be met, what is where. So yeah, but Eric, awesome question, man. Just you know, make sure you're humble as a leader, and you reach out. This is an expert you're talking to. By the way, just because they're $3.50 does not mean they're shit. You know, my VA, Naj, she has a bachelor in business, I think it is. A lot of these people I've worked with, even at $3.50, will have a university degree, degrees in engineering and all sorts of stuff, right? They're smarter than us a lot of the time. So, yeah, just be humble, accept that they're an expert, and just go, hey, how can you help?
Yeah, exactly. One last question, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Let's do it.
From CrossFit Solus in Texas. How do you motivate your coaches to sell memberships, t-shirts, supplements, PTs, etc., if they don't naturally do it on their own?
Right. Yeah. So who was that? What was the name? I just lost it.
Kelly Suders from CrossFit Solus.
Oh, Kelly. Kelly, what's up? Good to hear you. Okay, great question, Kelly. So a couple of ways. Number one, your team has to be a product of the product. Right. So it's a reason that all my coaches have to do classes. They can do their own training as well, but they have to do a minimum of 2 classes a week in the class with the people. They have to be a product of our product. Right. That extends to if we're wearing these t-shirts, then my coaches need to be a product of that product. Right. So my coaches are wearing the t-shirt because I've given it to them for free. And I've expressed to them that, hey guys, we only wear our brand t-shirts, right? You don't wear other t-shirts, right? Because we're trying to build something here. Yeah. If it's the protein, give all of your coaches a free tub when it first comes in as a sample, and then every tub after that they want to buy, we sell to them at cost. Again, a lot of good places to find money. Coaches' pocket's not one of them. And have them invested in that, and explain to them, communicate to them, like, guys, this is number one. This is a brand that we believe in terms of the supplements. We believe in the ethics of how it's made and produced and the ingredients. But also number two, guys, you need to know that this brand has the highest profit margins that we can find. So it's a brand we believe in and a brand that supports the business. And when the business does well, you guys do well. By the way, you can't just say that. You actually have to do it. If the business is doing well, that needs to flow downstream. Otherwise, it's just.
Do they get like a commission when they sell supplements or t-shirts or?
No, I don't want them sell. Here's where commissions get really tricky. There's some people where commissions will be a positive motivator, right? And I mean positive in terms of like a good, wholesome outcome. A lot of people, commissions will turn them into salespeople. And you and I both know most people are not salespeople. Yeah. And so all of a sudden they become pushy, right? So my job as a leader, right? I need my team to believe in what I believe in, what we believe in as a community, as a culture. And then I need them to want to tell the world. But at the same time, I do have to educate them on, hey guys, just a heads up with these t-shirts. Obviously they're great t-shirts, they're comfy, the designs are cool. And so we want our members to wear them because it's cool, right? It builds our culture. But also just so you guys know from a community, from a business point of view, our profit margins on these t-shirts are higher than any other product, right? With 65% profit margin on a t-shirt. And so when we sell a t-shirt, the business does really well. And when the business does well, you guys do well. This protein, I know that, look, I understand in your private life, maybe some of you guys prefer the vegan protein, but just understand we believe in this protein, right? As a community, we believe in it. It's ethical, but also the profits are significant. So I'd love for you guys to be on board with this. So instead of trying to say sales programs, just get your people to believe in, like, it's the same thing. I don't want them to sell CrossFit because I told them to sell CrossFit, because I taught them sales tactics. I want them to sell CrossFit because they love it, right? I want that to wear the care, wear the passion, be overt about it. So it needs to be the same with everything else. Now, there are strategies that we use, especially when it comes to pro shop stuff, where you put your pro shop, how you light your pro shop, what kind of attractants you have in your pro shop. We could do a 2-hour talk just on pro shop sales. And by the way, just for those who don't treat their pro shop with respect, our minimum goal and requirement for our boxers is that they pay their rent with their pro shop sales. Minimum, right? A lot of boxers do a lot more than this. And it's absolutely possible if you treat it properly, right? Your members are already spending that cash somewhere, right? I don't want my members to spend more. I just want them to transfer those dollars to our gym. So yeah, in short, Kelly, awesome question. You need your coaches to be a product of the product. You need them to believe in what you believe in. If you just tell them to sell something, that's not enough. You have to explain, you have to communicate, you have to invest then in the product and in the how that product fits into the community and the business as well. Don't be afraid to communicate your business goals to people. It's okay to have business goals. It's okay to want to make more money.
You have to train them. Let's say you want to sell more supplements.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe your nutrition coach could recommend, hey, let's do a blood test.
For sure.
There is a company called wellnessfx.com, wellnessfx.com. The e-checkup is 70. I'm on the website right now. The e-checkup is $78. The baseline is $198. The nutritionist or the dietitian that you have at your gym, or that you partner up with, can be like, hey, I don't know what you need, but let's do a blood test. You come back with your blood test. You can do that online with wellnessfx.com. You come back with your blood test, and then we'll see what you actually need. And then when you have that report, right? When you have the report, the blood test report, now it's so easy to sell the supplement.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
You need it. You need it. You got to buy it.
For sure. Evidence-based pain points, for sure. And also, just as a side note, make sure, guys, that you're selling, not stocking. There's a big difference between having shit on a shelves and selling it, right? And again, you don't need to be pushy, but if you get a new flavor of Kill Cliff through the door, or Fit Aid, or NoCo, or whatever you have, right, you should be sacrificing a full case of that when it comes through the door. And every member who walks through the door should be offered a small glass of it, right? Especially with stuff like that's the periodical consumables, right? Like a t-shirt is a periodical consumable, but the period is quite long. But if you can get 25% of your membership to get into a habit, a mental kind of habit of buying a Kill Cliff at the end of every class, right? What's a Kill Cliff? $5, right? And let's say you've got 200 members, right? And a quarter of those are spending an extra $5 guaranteed every single class with an average class attendance of 3 times a week. That's an extra $15, right? An extra $60 per person. They haven't even bought a shirt or a protein or anything yet. That's still to come. So when you've got anything, but especially periodical consumables, you have to sell them. Don't just stock them. Don't have them on some shelves getting dusty behind your front desk. Make sure people can touch them and feel them. And if it's something you can give people a try with, then do it. If you get new t-shirts in, every coach wears those new t-shirts every class for a week before they go on sale. I know when you get the box of new t-shirts in, you just want to put them out and sell them because it's exciting, but keep them in the office, have your coaches, make sure that your weekly coaches brief has a notice at the end of the class to say, hey guys, awesome class, well done on those squats. By the way, don't forget, we've got these dope new t-shirts in. They go on sale Monday at midday. There's limited stock, so make sure you get in. Super comfy, and I love the design. Monday at midday. Like that's 30 seconds. And by the way, this is a requirement. This isn't, I hope my coaches say it. This is part of their roles and responsibilities, is to announce the notices, right? So,
again,
just understand.
it comes back to system and training your team
Exactly.
and delegating. Yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And look, you're not selling, you're good people. You're not selling anything shitty. You're not selling like, oh, you know, this protein powder has a way higher profit margin, but it has arsenic in it, but it has a higher profit margin. So let's sell that. You're not, don't be worried about making money, you know, illegitimately, right? Through unethical means. You're just not going to do it. You didn't get this far by being an asshole. So don't feel like an asshole. Don't have that. It's kind of like a financial imposter syndrome, right? Just if you believe in it, make sure your team believe in it. That's communication and training. And then make sure, again, slippery systems where the systems do the selling. It's just your team, your coaches are the mouthpiece for those systems.
Great. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. So much.
It's a big one, bro. We did it.
2 hours. We could talk forever, right? I feel we could talk
We could go all
forever.
day, man. For sure.
Well,
Barely
I
scratched the
think that
surface.
we provided so much value today. Thank you so much, Ty.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for having me.
First, start with your vision, with your culture, with your messaging. I would say if you want to shortcut the process, for instance, Angie, if you want to shortcut the process, work with Ty. 1.2K, you can pay in 3 times.
Yep.
Work with Ty. You know, don't waste your time. Work with Ty. And then you will be ready to work with me.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. I learned a lot. Yeah, it was awesome. Me too. I learned a lot. And then once you're set up with systems, then you will be ready for a client acquisition system. You would be ready to work with me. And I truly believe, and Ty, maybe you can share your insight, your input on this. I truly believe that Ty's system and my system are very complementary.
100%. 100%. It's again, I'm very protective of my time, and I'm very protective of who I associate with. Again, for those who don't know me, outside of my company, we recommend 2 other companies, right? It's now 3 thanks to Remy, but I get approached by a lot of people, a lot to associate with.
I just got the broadcast interrupted on my phone. Let's see. Could you please type a comment, and then I'll let you start again. Could you please type a comment and see if we are still on?
Myself. I have to bring it up here.
Let's see.
All
right, I think we're still on.
I think we're still good. Yeah, I can see it. Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, go ahead, Ty. Sorry.
What was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. There's synergy between the products, and again, just to be clear, I only associate with, I only recommend 2 other businesses wholeheartedly, right? And that's how rare it is. Just so you guys know, I don't do this kind of stuff. I don't do this kind of thing with other business owners ever, right? And so the fact that I'm here, the fact that I'm doing it with Remy is a big deal for me. And those who were in my group yesterday, they know how big a deal it is for me to recommend somebody and to understand the synergy. Because I'm kind of a bit, I don't know, I've been around a long time. I've been doing this a long time. I know what works and what doesn't, and I'm not really interested in anything outside of that. And so the only reason we're talking is because, again, what you do is so synergistic to what we teach and what we do. And just, again, I'm not trying to tell people what I did. I'm taking the lessons from the best of the best. I'm more than happy to change every system I have tomorrow, and regularly do when I find a better way. And so when I find something like your program that matches into that, more than anything, the ethics, the fact that, you're not giving away, you're not doing the work for them. You're teaching them, you're empowering them as business owners. You're giving them the skill. You're focusing on mentality first. You won't bring anyone in who's not ready for it, right? That's an ethical decision. You'll say no to that money, and it's not a small amount of money, but you'll say no to it if they're not ready. And then the fact that you support people after they've stopped paying you, which is something I'm huge on. Yeah, that means the world to me. So guys, yeah, if you've got your systems, if you've got everything, all your ducks in a row, I can't recommend work. And you want more members, obviously. I can't recommend working with Remy enough. If you want to get your shit together and you get ducks in a row, whether it's systems or mentality or just structure, and you want to work with us, again, there's myself, but we have a large team of coaches around the world that can help, and then get you ready to work with Remy. That's awesome as well. Or if, look, this has been 2 hours of crazy information, take this and take it for free, run for the hills, do something with it.
Yeah. Here we try to provide as much value as possible in 2 hours. Well, you can't teach everything in 2 hours, but yeah, I would recommend do it with this order, work with Ty, get ready, then you come speak with me. I'll make sure that you're ready. And then, well, if your goal is to have $1 million gym, it's possible. If your goal is to have 2, 3, 4, 5 locations, it's possible. Or if your goal is to actually just spend time with your family or go travel the world or go, enjoy your hobby, it's possible too. We're gonna make your dream possible, whatever your dream is.
100%. Absolutely,
Okay.
man. Beautiful, dude. We killed it.
Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Ty, and thanks again. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to everyone who watched. Cheers, guys.
Ciao.